Okay, so let's go over these love journal notes. The first note we have is dated for May 22nd, 2015. My one and only. I fall more and more for you every day. Every conversation, every laugh, every story, every quote, debate, parentheses, sorry about those. Every date brings me closer to you, closer to knowing you, closer to the warm glow of knowing you're seeing the real me, parentheses, whatever that may be. Starting to realize true love isn't just about the madness of passion or instead picking the safety of peace. No, it's about having both. Falling madly in love with your friend. That is what has surprised me perhaps the most. That I have seen in you the true bones of friendship and respect. But of course, I still, parentheses, with perhaps crossed out, more than before, want to rip you apart, devour you, and savor the taste. Fret not. XX Slim. Note 2 is undated. It's a quote. It says, "Women are meant to be loved, not meant to be understood." Oscar Wilde. I'm sorry, Steve. I love you. XX, you're Slim. Note 3 has a little scrapbook piece from the Eastern and Oriental Express, and it is dated July 22nd, 2015. My husband, happy honeymoon. Let's get out of this place that God himself forgot and have a beautiful adventure. I love you so. XX Slim. Note 4 is 2 days later. It's dated the 24th of July, 2015. My Steve. Sitting here on the train looking out as Bangkok fades away into the melting sunset, waiting for you to emerge from the bathroom in yet another questionably fitting suit. Thinking to myself, could I be a luckier woman? Not just because you are the man of my dreams or that I could never dream of a more unbelievable adventure. No, what truly makes me feel lucky in these quiet moments of reflection is the simple truth. It's, like most of life's something, treasures, and the note ends there. Note 5 is dated August 1st, 2015, and it's written in a mix of all capital font, cursive font, different sizing. It's quite different from the last one. It reads, "That's enough. You've held this book hostage long enough. Although I can't wait to read my note, I also couldn't wait to tell you how much I adore you. What a beautiful, extraordinary, magical, memorable, wonderful, stunning, surprisingly evolving, and impulsive adventure. I couldn't have imagined a more gorgeous honeymoon. I love you more and more every passing day. XX Slim." Note 6 is dated August 2nd. At the top in parentheses it says day 2 of book stealing. I had to. The rest of it reads, "My love, there is nothing on earth I love more than waking up to your sweet soft beeps in my ear or the intoxicating warmth of your touch upon slowly climbing out of my dreams. I long for that, for the most beautiful start of my day. And even though we argued last night and fell asleep with weight on our hearts, I still felt my day was only half worth having." Approaching is crossed out, as it missed its most treasured start. I missed it sorely, as I miss you and your infectious company when your heart/mind is somewhere else. Of course I know things still sting in the morning, even if we manage to fall asleep in each other's arms, but all I can say to that is I hope things said in anger and pain were just that, and that you miss and love me too, and that is what matters most to you. You may say you stand on everything you said and did, and that there is nothing you can learn from this, but I don't feel that way. And it's important for me that you know that I love you, and I'm sorry. I miss my warm, loving husband. XX, Sad, Slim." The sad crossed out. Note 7 has a Happy Holidays gift tag scrapbooked in that says to Steve from Slim, and it is dated the 15th of August. My love, why do we fight? Ever? Why? I love you more than anything else. Are we that uncomfortable with being vulnerable? Are we scared? Or is it something else? I don't know, but I am sure of one thing, and it's that I can't imagine my life without you. I love you. I will do better. I am sorry. X Slim. Note 8 is dated for the 17th of August, 2015, and it reads, "My Steve, you are my life, you are my all, my everything. I can't imagine my life without you. I said for better or for worse, and I will honor that, no matter what, until the wheels fall off. Isn't that what we said? I'm sorry I shook the wheels so hard. I'm sorry we've tested the shocks and brakes to this point. God damn, I love you, Johnny. I love you." I am tied to you forever. You know that? So, I am tasked with making this work for that reason, and many others, of which there are many. Let me try to fix this. Let me try to patch this. Let me try to make your heart better. You deserve it. Hell, maybe even I do. I need you. We need each other. You're my cornerstone, my heart, my all. You are my life. I hate it when we fight. I hate having you hurt. Heart is crossed out, so it reads, I hate having you hurt. I hate that your hurt is crossed out. You're hurting. I love you more than anything. Let me prove it. I need you. I love you. XXX Slim. Note 9 is the final note in this journal, and it's dated April 8th, presumably 2016. Steve, last night was horrible, but I refuse to let so many beautiful days, memories, love, roads built and bridges crossed, love made, and gorgeous happy moments made with you over the past few weeks be eclipsed by one bad fight. We have simply survived too many of them, and have had too much fun, love, and history to do so. I'm sorry I can get crazy. I'm sorry I hurt you. Like you, I can get wicked when I'm hurt, when I feel provoked, shattered. And last night I was. I felt abandoned about the Lily Rose thing. Felt absolutely bewildered about you not coming home on my last night here. And was heartbroken and angry after many attempts in vain on my part to rectify the situation and to make amends on my is crossed out, the last night of what was otherwise a gorgeous trip with you. I am so sorry for my part. None of this is meant to be an excuse for hurting you, because the truth is, nothing is. There is never a reason good enough to hurt you. You are the last thing in the whole world who deserves it, last person I ever want to hurt. I love you, Steve. I am so forever yours. XX Slim.
This is the only photograph from our honeymoon that shows someone with an injury, correct?
That's not true.
We haven't seen any photos of injuries to your face from that train trip, have we?
I don't believe my face was injured on that trip.
Now, with that being said, there's some other context to keep in mind here. So these notes are kind of sparse, and they span from May 2015 through April 2016. We have some journal entries in here about the train incident. And just some things to keep in mind is that during May 2015, that was still in the window of recovery from, the finger incident, the surgery, the infections. So that's important to keep in mind. But right now, since we don't know when Note 2 was written, we only know that it's from sometime, or theoretically should be from sometime between May 22nd and July 22nd. We don't really know where to attribute that to. But if we go to July 22nd, this note's about the honeymoon. And when we read this note from July 24th, we saw this really nice description. She thinks there's this beautiful sunset fading away. She's waiting for him to emerge from the bathroom, which is kind of a weird visual for us, knowing from other context how fights end up in the bathroom between the two of them. But we have her saying these wonderful things, and then the note just ends abruptly with the word the. There's nothing else here. And then the next thing we have is this weird note with the handwriting changing and going all over the place about a week later. But something that we do have is a personal journal entry from Amber, and we also have the photos from this trip. So again, we have these notes that the honeymoon note, the first one is on the 22nd. Then we have the 24th describing how beautiful the train ride is and all that. And then we have this weird note that comes back after the cutoff on August 1st. It's written in all this weird font, but in any case, she's talking about how wonderful it is, how wonderful the honeymoon was. And on August 2nd, we have a reference to them arguing last night and Amber deeply missing waking up with that love in the morning. Even though they fell asleep together, it wasn't the same because there was weight on her heart when she had to fall asleep. And then we have this language where she says, and that it is what matters most to you. And in subsequent notes, she reiterates, isn't that what we said? I will honor that no matter what, until the wheels fall off. Isn't that what we said? And if you remember, not too far later from this, in September of 2015, when they're at the Toronto Film Festival and they have that 18-minute argument that's recorded. I mean, the argument lasted longer than that, but we have an 18-minute recording of the Toronto audio.
So anyway, I'm leaving. So I'll see you in a bit, yeah?
Is that what matters?
Your lines?
Is this what matters to you, your party?
Your lies matter to me.
I never lied to you. And what we're talking about tonight is what? Why? Why are you doing this?
I'm leaving. I'll leave back.
Why?
Because I'm leaving.
What is it that is so important always to run away to? Why?
It's a runaway, yeah. I run because I'm a cop.
Why don't you stay?
She says he's seen things. Is that what matters to you? And reiterates that we both took an oath that we said. And in the Toronto audio, Depp says, well, your mom will understand why I want to leave you.
Have my fucking teeth.
Jay.
But I asked you to not leave because you made a promise to me in front of our families, and because our friends heard it, my mother heard it, who's by
Your
the
mom
way,
understands
about-
why I walk out this door.
my mother, do I ask her what she
I think
thinks?
she understands.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You did.
And if you want to,
I did what you did. I want you to ask her if she understands what you do. Let's see what she says.
So keep in mind that even the language from this love journal, it's reoccurring. It's the same theme as always. She wants to hear that he'll always be there, even while she figures out that love isn't about passionate fighting.
I hate that you're hurting. I love you more than anything. Let me prove it. I need you. I love you. Slim. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, another example of me trying to fix it. I was always trying to fix it.
Fix it by apologizing for your bad behavior?
I tried everything. I tried apologizing, I tried reading, I tried therapists, I tried everything to fix
But
it.
yet you couldn't change like you told Dr. Cowan, right?
I couldn't change my relationship.
And I also want to point out, since she reported to Don Hughes that Depp supposedly was possessive because he saved her in his phone as mine, all of these things say my Steve, my love. Not that that's that big of a deal, but when you're going to point out that someone's possessive for saying someone's mine, but you do it too, and then you have other things in here, we're tied together forever, and other weird language that says I can't live without you, it's a bit hypocritical. But anyway, with that being said, I mean, these love journals, there's only a few notes. There's 9 notes. They cover a weird spans of time. They're pretty sparse, but a few of them are concentrated around this honeymoon. Let's look at the personal journal entry that she wrote on July 27th. I will link to a Google Doc where I have transcribed this in text to the best of my ability. If you want to read these on your own, the links to the Depp Dive PDFs will be there, as well as a link to just a simple Google Doc that you can copy and paste from. You can read if you don't want to read this handwriting. Now, there were supposedly more personal journal entries that Amber had submitted. I haven't seen them. If anyone has them and would like me to transcribe them, I will. But this one we have, and it's just so weird to look at in contrast to the other things we have available about this time period, including the love journal notes about the honeymoon. So remember, this point in time, July 27th, is when they are arriving to the Raffles Hotel. And this one's 6 pages. I'm going to do my best to read it as it goes, but it shifts pretty quickly at times. So again, if you want to read it on your own, the links will be in the description of this for you. It's dated July 27th and noted that it's happening in Singapore. It reads, arrived in Singapore this morning. We are staying at the Raffles Hotel. Apparently a very beautiful and historic place. From what I saw from the car window coming here from the train station, it didn't seem impressive. Very modern and almost forced cleanliness, in quotes. Like a third world attempting desperately and unrelentingly to appear to the rest of the world as, it looks like it says FT, I can't tell. We arrived in a super rushed manner as always. This station, our final destination here in Singapore, sprang up on us in a surprise 5 minutes till we're there kind of way. After 3 hours of sleep and the terrible fight we got in last Scribble night, we are both walking zombies today. I am of course still upset, still hurt, and frankly, feel like crying. But attempting to fake through it and pretend it's all behind us now, so as to not continue the fight about everything again. I know he's doing the same. He came out on the patio where I was sitting just now writing to try to talk to me. Said he wanted to move forward, all of that. Started great, even though I was crying because of the heart sickness I am burdened with. The fight hangover plus melancholy I feel about returning to the States and effectively ending our honeymoon. We don't have a place to go after this. We wanted to continue the adventure and go to Vietnam or something. The plane has to leave tonight. I hate that once again, our plans don't hold up against the powers that be, whoever they are. That's particularly frustrating for me because I have no control over them. That's the thing. Even if I can get, and this is crossed out, J to something a con, and then it continues, a consensus on some plan of some sort, it's never entirely respected, remembered, held. Think of the wedding date for Christ's sake. Now this, exclamation, question mark. Now the honeymoon too. That also is being bastardized by some oversight or something. Quote, the plane is booked, end quote, Nathan said before adding, quote, can you imagine how upset I was when I heard that? Question mark, exclamation, end quote. Parentheses, on the day, crossed out before leaving Hamilton Island, end cross out, to start said journey. On the day? Question mark, exclamation. That's when they tell us our plan to continue traveling in Southeast Asia, parentheses, because when are we going to be back in this, quote, neighborhood, end quote, question mark, exclamation, until finally going back home in 7 days or so on the plane. So we had two options. Surprise, stay here and continue the adventure / honeymoon, or go home on the plane 1 day after arriving here at our last train stop, Singapore. Fucked up choice to have to make considering it forces us to pay for the cost of getting ourselves home. Parentheses, knowing there's the plane Disney covers, or leaving not 3 days after arriving in Singapore, but 1. Again, out of my control, out of my hands. Other than how I am burdened with the unpleasant task of pushing for an early return home, which isn't even home because it's still being worked on as Laura / Kevin still aren't done, or pushing for the honeymoon to be prematurely over when I don't want it to be. Sitting out on the patio here of this beautiful hotel suite, Jay comes out to talk. I'm crying, dispelling pent-up anger, rage, pain, looking for internal mental justifications for the hot tears rolling down my cheeks. Pent-up anger, left over from last night, no doubt. A night that ended at 3:30 and was brutally interrupted by the train's imminent arrival to the Singapore station, so early in the morning, after 3 hours of sleep. It has felt like an even more brutal heart hangover. Plus, last night was particularly bad. We finally fell asleep, with one another smashed together in desperate, childlike anger, fear, and love. Finally succumbing to the exhaustion and realizations of the ultimate unavoidable futility after hours of relentless arguing. Maybe we need to walk away and cool down, but why can't I when I'm upset? Why can't I? Exclamation, question mark. I know it would help. Our fight was terrible. Jay finally at one point found himself with his shirt wrapped around my neck. Amazing to think about the precision / coordination that required considering the circumstances. He hit me several times. I don't even know how I wound up with this huge, rather annoying knot on the back of my head, question mark? Fuck. I hate that it went there. I hate that I allow it to, by never using that as a line for which he can, crossed out. I stand my ground. Where are my bones? Do I have any left? And I'm sure there's plenty of other context that could be tied to these notes. But what I do know is that around this August time where we have these notes like, you're my everything, I made the wheels fall off, we do have this note from Dr. Connell Cowan. Now, he's qualifying this. He received the note from her on August 2015, but he gives us the context, have made suggestions as to how to have a conversation about her career choices and the support she would like to have from him, and give to him in a reciprocal way. Issue is her doing a film with an actor that Jay feels threatened by. Amber was afraid to have the conversation. I encourage her to be transparent and attempt it. Just pay attention to how she describes her behavior. Below is her note to me. That's Amber's note to Cohen. It reads, it didn't work. The conversation went south because he drove it there. And no matter how hard I worked to keep him calm, which I did a good job of externally, I didn't yell or raise my voice or act angry, call names, throw insults, nothing. I didn't engage. I didn't take the bait. And after an hour of silence on the couch and him asking me what was wrong with me, I just said, I want you to be happy. Which led to the conversation, which obviously what the whole thing / non-thing was about. And it just didn't work. He kept insinuating things, throwing jabs, insults, and when I would calmly, yes calmly, say that I was being hurt by some of the things he was saying, help me interpret it differently, it inevitably ended up being hostility, threats, more insults, and defense. I literally put up with it for 2 hours, didn't crack, didn't get mad externally, and nothing worked. He just was hostile, angry, mean, and insulting, and then walked away to go to bed. So now I am pacing in my closet room, vibrating and crying on what to do or how it could go wrong. I didn't give chase or yell or fight or do anything I normally give into doing, yet I feel terrible. Now, a lot of this is obviously probably going to stand out like a what moment, but particularly to me, this bit where she says, I just said, I want you to be happy, which led to the conversation, which obviously what the whole thing / non-thing was about. That type of minimizing, we see that pop up in some of the audio recordings and elsewhere. When she's called out for throwing objects, she's like, oh, that's nothing. It's non sequitur. And we have her saying that to her therapist. Like, that's just insane to me. This was an opportunity where she could have said what the whole thing was. She's laying out a whole paragraph in a note. I don't know how this note is being sent, but the way it's written, it was either a handwritten note that was transcribed or maybe a text. Who knows? But in any case, she has these paragraphs about how it was a whole thing and then describes it as a non-thing. And most of the description is her explaining how she didn't do anything wrong. So, come on. And then we have that love note from April of presumably 2016. Remember, April 2016 was around the time of the Adderall Diaries premiere. The Coachella birthday stuff was later that month in April. And remember, on April 5th, we have text message records that Malcolm Connolly testified to. Please get her out of this room now. She struck me about 10 times. Can't take it anymore. And that was a text from Depp to Connolly. And Connolly also testified that in his experience, this was not a one-off type of text or conversation. And I just thought it'd be a good idea to contextualize. We have this note from Erin Falati from April 12th, 2016. The notes say, RN attended client's movie premiere of Adderall Diaries per client's request. Client appeared in good spirits and stated she had taken prescribed Neurontin prior to arriving at the premiere. Client reports drinking 2 glasses red wine prior to arrival and consumed 2 glasses red wine during film. RN accompanied client to after party. Client appeared social and in good spirits and consumed 2 to 3 glasses of red wine. So that's 6 or 7 at this point. It's almost as many times as she had a broken nose. Client invited RN to attend Coachella Music Festival with her and several friends for her birthday. Client and friend Rocky admitted that they would be using illicit and recreational drugs such as MDMA, mushrooms, and marijuana. RN declined offer and reminded client RN cannot be in the presence of illicit drugs. RN also reminded client that she should not be using illicit drugs and that her prescribed medication could be adversely affected by other herbs, medications, or drugs. Well, and then we know what happens from there. But that's all. I thought this was a pretty good time to take a look at the love journal, and I thought there was some surrounding context that was interesting to tie into it. Really what had inspired a lot of this was revisiting this text that Amber had sent after the Australia incident, where she says, I feel so lost. I can't talk. I don't know if I'll ever be able to change. And this is just something that we see consistently in the text messages she also sends to Depp on other occasions, the audio recordings, and then also these love journal notes, which really seem like apology letters, as Camille Vasquez aptly pointed out during cross-examination. I'll link to everything that I've mentioned here in the notes or wherever you're seeing this, so you can kind of digest it on your own. It's just a simple Google Doc, so sorry it's not the prettiest presentation, but it's all there. And of course, if you have anything else to add, any other context, all ears. Let's piece this together.